Hello everyone, good evening. Welcome to the session. I hope all of you are doing well. Welcome to Unacademy, India's largest online learning platform that gives to you a world of courses, resources, content, live and recorded sessions to help you in your preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examinations. I would also like to welcome you to Crack CA Exams with us, which is a vertical and channel of Unacademy that caters to the students of CA Foundation and Intermediate in their journey and pursuit of preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examinations by providing top quality educators, quality content, and overall a great learning experience. So come, let's crack CA exams with Unacademy, India's largest online learning platform. Before we proceed, a brief introduction about the Educator today. Hello, I'm Prathik Gupta. I'm a Bachelor of Commerce from Christ College, Bangalore University. I'm an associate member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, an associate member of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, an associate member of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India, and also a law graduate from Karnataka State Law University. I'm currently a practicing chartered accountant and also a visiting faculty for CA subjects and an educator for CA students both offline and online. Prior to starting on my own, I worked with SR Bartley Boy & Associates, that is the Indian member firm of Ernst & Young Global in the Audit and Assurance Department. Post that, I worked with Ernst & Young India, EY India in the Mergers and Acquisitions Department. And finally, I went on to work with the Manipal Group in Bangalore as the corporate controller of their German entity as well as their Indian German subsidiary as well as the Indian entity. And the German subsidiary was located in Frankfurt, Germany. It was only after I got back from Frankfurt, Germany that I decided to start something on my own. And that also gave me the opportunity to become an educator. And that also gave me an opportunity to become an educator, which in turn has given me this opportunity to take this session for you young, bright and enthusiastic CA aspirants. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and I hope you find the session useful. Anytime during the session, in case you have any questions, queries, observations or discussions to be made, please feel free to drop in a line and I will be happy to take up the matter for problem solving or for discussion purposes, as the case may be, as soon as possible. Alright, I would also like to draw your attention to my name, which is Prathik Gupta, P-R-A-T-H-I-K. It is spelled as P-R-A-T-H-I-K. It's Prathik with an H, G-U-P-T-A. Now, why I'm stressing on the spelling of my name is because a lot of people miss the H in my name, because of which they misspell my name and they're unable to find my numerous number of classes on the Unacademy learning app in the form of special classes, and also my sessions on the YouTube channel of Unacademy. So, using my name Prathik Gupta, P-R-A-T-H-I-K, you can look me up on the YouTube channel of Unacademy as well as the Unacademy Learning app to find my numerous number of special classes and YouTube sessions. Okay, now like I told you, Unacademy caters to you in your preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examination. It does so, it does so through 3 platforms. Just give me a moment. It does so through 3 platforms, that is your YouTube, special class, and your Plus platform. Now, YouTube and special classes are absolutely free of cost, but they provide an amazing amount of value and resources to help you in your preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examinations. YouTube is what you're watching right now, where you just need to go onto the YouTube channel and you need to type Prathik Gupta and you will see all my hundreds of hours of YouTube classes exclusively for the benefit of CA Foundation and Intermediate students. Special classes also are absolutely free of cost and they are available on an app known as the Unacademy Learning app. Now, special classes also provide you a tremendous amount of resources to help you in your preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examinations. Talking about the Plus platform of Unacademy is the premium platform of Unacademy. That is a payment-based subscription model and which provides various subscription packages for the various examinations, more about which I will tell you as we move on. But in this slide, I will quickly tell you why I recommend and encourage you to become part of the Plus platform of Unacademy as soon as possible. The first reason why I recommend and encourage you to become part of the Plus platform of Unacademy is because of the daily live classes it provides, where you get to chat with your educator, engage in discussions, ask your doubts, and answer polls. All this while the class is going on. The second reason why I recommend and encourage you to become part of the Plus platform of Unacademy is because of the live tests and quizzes it conducts on a regular and periodic basis, which help in evaluation of your preparation and also get a detailed analysis of your performance. The third reason why I recommend and encourage you to become part of the Plus platform of Unacademy is because of the structured courses it provides, where all our courses are structured in line with your exam syllabus to help you best prepare for it. And lastly and most importantly, the reason why I recommend and encourage you to become part of the Plus platform of Unacademy is because of the unlimited access it provides, and where one subscription to the Plus platform gets you access to all our live and recorded courses to watch from the comfort of any of your devices. So keeping all these advantages in mind, among many others, I strongly recommend and encourage you to become part of the Plus platform of Unacademy as soon as possible in order to accelerate and enhance your preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examinations. Let's move on. Now, in the previous slide, you heard me say live and recorded sessions. So if you're wondering where are all those live and recorded Plus courses and live and recorded special classes available, they are available on an app known as the Unacademy Learning app. So for those of you who have downloaded, installed and are using the Unacademy Learning app, I thank you very much, and I request your support in the future as well. And for those of you who have not yet downloaded the Unacademy Learning app, I request you to go to the Play Store on your mobile phones, download the Unacademy Learning app, install the Unacademy Learning app on your phones, put in your mobile number where you will get an OTP, and using that OTP you can register on the Unacademy Learning app. It is as simple as this, with no lengthy or complicated procedures. Now your next question might be, okay, you have downloaded the Unacademy Learning app, installed it, registered on it using the OTP, so what's next? So let me tell you that the Unacademy Learning app gives you access to all the live and recorded special classes that Unacademy has to offer to you to help you in your preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examination. And it also gives you access to all the live and recorded Plus courses that Unacademy has to offer to you to help you in accelerating and enhancing your preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examinations. So keeping these points in mind, I request you to download, install and register on the Unacademy Learning app as soon as possible, so that you can make use of the world of resources that Unacademy has to offer to you to help you in your preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examinations. This is an important slide. Like I told you, the Plus platform of Unacademy is the premium platform of Unacademy that is a payment-based subscription model and which provides various subscription packages for the various examinations. Accordingly, the CA Foundation and Intermediate subscription packages provided by the Plus platform of Unacademy are as follows. The packages provided are for 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months and 24 months. The 1 month package will cost you rupees 3,500. The 3 month package will cost you rupees 8,750. The 6 months package will cost you rupees 14,000. The 12 months package will cost you rupees 17,500. And the 24 months package will cost you rupees 21,000. Now please remember, these are the listed price of the packages. So before you make the payment for the package of your choice, please do not forget to use the code Prathik to get an instant discount of 10% on the above listed price. I repeat, please do not forget to use the code Prathik to get an instant discount of 10% on the above listed price. The after discount price of the various packages will be as follows. The 1 month package will cost you rupees 3,150. The 3 month package will cost you rupees 7,875. The 6 months package will cost you rupees 12,600. The 12 months package will cost you rupees 15,750, and the 24 months package will cost you rupees 18,900. So you see, immediately you get a savings or discount of 10% when you use my code. Now I will personally recommend you to start off with the 12 months or 24 months packages for 2 reasons. Firstly, it is cost effective. If you compare the 1 month package cost with the per month cost of the 12 months and 24 months packages, you will see that you're getting great cost savings almost immediately. And secondly, and most importantly, since the CA Foundation and Intermediate courses are provided to you in one package, that is 12 months or 24 months, a 12 months or 24 months package will be highly beneficial to you because it covers the duration of both your courses, that is CA Foundation and Intermediate, which normally take a minimum of about 12 months for you to prepare and clear. So if you're getting a package that is 12 months or 24 months, covering both your CA Foundation and the Intermediate at a very cost-effective price, I think that is a very good deal. But having said this, you're free to choose the package of your choice. But before you make the payment, please do not forget to use the code Prathik to get an instant discount of 10% on the above listed price. You can also make use of the no-cost EMI option available for the 6 months, 12 months and 24 months packages, just in case you do not wish to make the entire payment in one shot. The payment options available to you are internet banking, debit card and credit card, and also all the coins that you've accumulated by watching the special classes can be redeemed while making the payment for the Plus course. Keeping all these packages, incentives and discounts in mind, and also the advantages I told you a couple of slides earlier in mind, I strongly recommend and encourage you to become part of the Plus platform of Unacademy as soon as possible in order to enhance and accelerate your preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examinations. Alright, please take about 30 seconds, go through this and then we proceed. Okay, now like I told you, the Unacademy Learning app gives you access to all the live and recorded special classes. Here are the snapshots of few of the many special classes that I have conducted on the Unacademy Learning app, which you will find useful in your preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examinations. There are special class on RTP, Sale of Goods Act, Indian Contracts Act, the Companies Act, Fundamentals of Accounting, Retirement of Partner, Admission of Partner, Death of Partner, Valuation of Inventories, Revision on Final Accounts of Non-Manufacturing Entities, Revision on Sale of Goods on Approval or Return Basis, and many more. All you need to do is log into the Unacademy Learning app, go to my profile Prathik Gupta, and you can go through all the hundreds of hours of special classes that I have taken on the Unacademy Learning app exclusively for the benefit of CA Foundation and Intermediate students. Here are also the links to few of the many special classes that I have conducted on the Unacademy Learning app. You can either click on these links or copy and paste these links on your browser to take you directly to the special class of the Unacademy Learning app. There are special class on Indian Contracts Act, the Sale of Goods Act, the Indian Partnership Act, the Limited Liability Partnership Act, the Companies Act, Basics of Communication, Accounting Concepts, Revision Test Papers, and many more. So like I told you earlier, please log into the Unacademy Learning app, go to my profile Prathik Gupta, and start making use of the hundreds of hours of sessions that are there in the form of special classes exclusively for the benefit of the CA Foundation and Intermediate students. Alright, so let's start off. Now we're going to talk about revision test papers for November 2020 issued for business law, issued by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and which are being used here exclusively for educational or discussion purposes only. Okay, so we're going to discuss. So the way I'm going to structure this thing is I'm going to read the question, explain the answer to you, give you about 2 or 3 minutes to go through it, and then if you have any questions, you can always ask me. Okay, so let's start off with Indian Contracts Act for 1872, and these are the revision test papers, May 2020. So let's look at question number 1. X entered into a contract with Y to supply him 1,000 water bottles at rupees 5 per bottle to be delivered at a specified time. Thereafter, X contracts with Z for the purchase of 1,000 water bottles at rupees 4.5 per water bottle, and at the same time told Z that he did so for the purpose of performing his contract entered into with Y. Z failed to perform his contract in due course, and market price of each water bottle on that day was rupees 5.25 per bottle. Consequently, X could not procure any water bottle and Y rescinded the contract. Rescinded means cancel the contract. Calculate the amount of damages which X could claim from Z. In the circumstances, what would be your answer if Z had not been informed about Y's contract? Explain that with reference to the provisions of the Contract Act 1872. Okay, so let's have a look at the introduction. Breach of contract damages. Section 73 of the Indian Contracts Act 1872 lays down that when a contract has been broken, the party who suffers by such breach is entitled to receive from the party who has broken the contract compensation for any loss or damage caused to him, whereby which naturally arose in the usual course of things from such breach, or which the parties knew when they made the contract to be likely to result from the breach of it. So this simply says, Section 73 of the Indian Contracts Act says that whenever there is a breach of contract, the aggrieved party or the injured party can claim damages from the other party. And these damages will be normally the damages that have arisen from such breach, and also the damages which the other party knew would arise in case he breached the contract. Okay, please take about 2 or 3 minutes first, go through this. Any questions, please ask me. Any questions, please ask me. Any questions, please ask me. Take about a couple of minutes more. Are we done? Okay, let's look at the solution then. Now, the leading case on this point is Hadley versus Baxendale, in which it was decided by the court that the special circumstances under which the contract was actually made were communicated by the plaintiff to the defendant and thus known to both the parties to the contract. The damages resulting from the breach of contract, which they would reasonably contemplate, would be the amount of injury which would ordinarily follow from the breach of contract under these special circumstances so known and communicated. So basically, in Hadley versus Baxendale, the plaintiff had told the defendant that, see, if you breach the contract, this is the loss I will do, or I am entering into a contract with you for this particular purpose. So in case you do not deliver or you breach, this is the outcome or this is what I will lose. Then the problem asked in this question is based on the provisions of Section 73 of the Indian Contracts Act 1872. In the instant case, X had intimated to Z that he was purchasing water bottles from him for the purpose of performing his contract with Y. Thus, Z had the knowledge of the special circumstances. Therefore, X is entitled to claim from Z rupees 500 at the rate of 50 paise. That is 1000 water bottles into 50 paise. That is the amount of profit he has lost. Difference between the procuring price of water bottles and contracted price with Y being the amount of profit X would have made by performing the contract. Then, in case X had not told Z about the contract, then his damages would have been more, because as on the date on which the X was supposed to supply the bottles to Y, the price of the bottles was 5.25. That means 75 paise was the difference. So 1000 water bottles into 75 paise will be 750. Okay, please take about 2 minutes, go through this. Any questions, please ask me. Any questions, please ask. Please take 2 minutes. Carefully go through this. This is a revision test papers November 2020 question. Okay. And these, please include the revision test papers as part of your preparations as well, because these questions are very important and it is very likely that these questions can be asked in your examinations as well. Okay, please take another 2 minutes, carefully go through this. Any questions you may have, please ask me. Let me know once you're done, please, all of you. Let me know once you're done, please. Are we done? Okay, take about a minute more. Carefully go through this. It's an important question. Hmm. Are we done? Okay, let's move to the next question. Question number 2. Mr. Sham owned a motor car. He approached Mr. Vikas and offered to sell his motor car for rupees 3 lakhs. Mr. Sham told Mr. Vikas that the motor car is running at the rate of 30 kilometers per liter of petrol. Both the fuel meter and the speed meter of the car were working perfectly. Mr. Vikas agreed to the proposal of Mr. Sham and took delivery of the car by paying rupees 3 lakhs to Mr. Sham. After 10 days, Mr. Vikas came back with the car and stated that the claim made by Mr. Sham regarding fuel efficiency was not correct, and therefore there was a case of misrepresentation. Referring to the provisions of the Indian Contracts Act 1872, decide and write whether Mr. Vikas can rescind the contract on the above ground. So that's the question. Let's look at the answer. As per provisions of Section 19 of the Indian Contracts Act 1872, when consent to an agreement is caused by coercion, fraud, or misrepresentation, the agreement is a contract voidable at the option of the party whose consent was so caused. Okay, there has to be free consent in a contract, right? We read that in the essential elements of a valid contract. A party to a contract whose consent was caused by fraud or misrepresentation may, if he thinks fit, insist that the contract shall be performed and that he shall be put in a position in which he would have been if the representations had been true. So please remember, whenever the consent of any person has been obtained through coercion, fraud or misrepresentation, then the contract becomes voidable at his option. Voidable at his option means if he wants, he can cancel the contract, or if he wants, he can stress on the specific performance of the contract to be put in the position in which he would have been if the representations had been true. Okay, please take 2 minutes first, go through this, and then we go on to the next slide. Carefully go through this, it's important. Carefully go through this. Please take another minute. Let me know once we are done, please. Okay, now let's look at the exception. If such consent was caused by misrepresentation or by silence, fraudulent within the meaning of section 17, the contract nevertheless is not voidable if the party whose consent was so caused had the means of discovering the truth with ordinary diligence. In the situation given in the question, both the fuel meter and the speed meter of the car were working perfectly. Mr. Vikas had the means of discovering the truth with ordinary diligence. Therefore, the contract is not voidable, hence Mr. Vikas cannot rescind the contract on the above ground. Okay, so now what happens even if someone has obtained a consent through misrepresentation and if the other person has an opportunity to check or cross-check that misrepresentation and he does not do so, then he cannot claim protection or advantage. So in the given case, even though Sham told Vikas that it gives 30 kilometers per liter, the speedometer and the fuel meter of the car were working. So if Mr. Vikas, if he wanted, he could have checked the mileage of the car. But he did not do it for whatever reason. Therefore, the contract is not voidable. Hence, Mr. Vikas cannot rescind the contract on the above ground. Okay, take 2 minutes, go through this. Any questions, please ask. Any questions, please ask me. Once you're done, let me know, please. Any questions, please ask. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question number 3. Define the term acceptance. Discuss the legal provisions relating to communication of acceptance. Answer. According to section 2b, the term acceptance is defined as follows. When a person to whom a proposal is made signifies his assent thereto, the proposal is said to be accepted. A proposal, when accepted, becomes a promise. So any person to whom an offer is made, when he gives his consent to that, it is known as an acceptance. And a proposal, when accepted, becomes a promise. An acceptance, in order to be valid, must be absolute, unqualified, accepted according to the mode, if any, prescribed within the reasonable time, and communicated to the offerer. Acceptance can also be made by way of conduct. So that you mean by implied acceptance. The legal provisions relating to communication of acceptance are contained in section 4. The communication of an acceptance is complete when A. As against the proposer, that means the person who is making the offer, when it is put in the course of transmission to him so as to be out of reach of the acceptor. So, see, the acceptance is said to be complete in 2 aspects. One is against the proposer and one is against the acceptor. So, against the proposer, it is said to be complete when it is put in the course, or it is put in the process of reaching the proposer, and the acceptor cannot cancel that process, or it cannot call back the process. And acceptance is said to be completed as against the acceptor when it comes to the knowledge of the proposer. So whenever the proposer or the offerer comes to know about the acceptance, then it is complete as against the acceptor. Okay, there are various important terms of acceptance as well. Please take 2 minutes, go through this. Any questions, please ask me. Any questions you may have, please ask me. Take 2 minutes. This is a RTP November 2020 question. Any questions, please ask. Let me know once you're done, please. Carefully go through this. It's an RTP question, so it's an important question. Any questions, please ask. Are we done? Any questions? Please ask. Okay, then Section 3 of the Act provides in general two modes of communication. The one, namely, by any act, that is by saying yes, by writing yes, it's accepted, or by omission, intending thereby communicating to the other, which has the effect of communicating it to the other. The first method, which would include any conduct and words, whether written or oral. Written words would include letters, telegrams, advertisements, etc. Oral words would include telephone messages. Any conduct would include positive acts or signs, so that the other person understands what the person acting or making signs means to say or convey. Omission would exclude silence, but include such conduct or forbearance on one's part that the other person takes it as his willingness or assent. These are not only the modes of communication of the intention of the parties, there are other means as well. Example, if you as the owner deliver the goods to me as the buyer, therefore thereof at a certain price, this transaction will be understood by everyone as acceptance by act or conduct unless there is an indication to the contrary. The phrase appearing in section 3, which has the effect of communicating it, clearly refers to an act or omission or conduct which may be indirect but which results in communicating an acceptance or non-acceptance. However, a mere mental but unilateral act of assent in one's own mind does not tantamount to communication, hence it cannot have the effect of communicating to the other. So basically a communication can be made through words or it can be made through actions as well. But if you have just decided in your head that okay, I communicated, then that is not a valid communication. The communication should reach the offerer. Okay, that is what section 3 of the Act talks about. Okay. Please take 2 minutes, go through this. Any questions, please ask. Please take 2 minutes. Go through this carefully. Any questions, please ask me. Any questions? Please ask me. Please take a couple of minutes, please. Go through this carefully. Any questions? Please ask me. This is section 3. It's an important question from the exam point of view as well. This is a revision test paper, November 2020 question on acceptance. I explained the entire thing to you. Now I'm giving you time to read it. Take about a minute. Go through this. Any questions you may have, please ask me. Let me know once you're done, please. Are we done? Okay, let's proceed. Question number 4. To form a valid contract, consideration must be adequate. Comment. Okay. Now the next question is to form a valid contract, a consideration must be adequate. Comment. Now we need to comment whether this is true or false. The law provides that a contract should be supported by consideration. So please remember, we read it in the essential elements of a valid contract that there should be consideration except 3-4 exceptions. So any contract which is for free without a consideration is void. Okay, but is consideration adequate? Is that a question we need to ask? So long as consideration exists, the courts are not concerned as to its adequacy, provided it is of some value. The adequacy of the consideration is for the parties to consider at the time of making the contract, not the court when it is sought to be enforced. Bolton versus Morton. So basically the court is not bothered about whether the consideration is adequate or not. The court will see only if there is a consideration or not. Now whether the consideration is 5 rupees, 10 rupees, 1000 rupees, that is a decision between the parties, the buyer and the seller. Consideration must however have something to which the law attaches high value in need. It need not be equivalent in value to the promise made. Okay, so the law will never come and say that no, this is not valued at so much, this is not so much, the consideration should have been more, the consideration should have been less. No, the law will only see if there is some reasonable consideration. According to explanation 2 of section 25 of the Indian Contracts Act 1872, an agreement to which the consent of the promisor is freely given is not void merely because the consideration is inadequate, but the inadequacy of the consideration may be taken into account by the court in determining the question whether the consent of the promisor was freely given. So, now just imagine if I am selling you my laptop for 100 rupees. Now the court will not bother whether the value of a laptop is 100 rupees or whether it should have been 10,000 or 1 lakh. But and also the contract does not become void. But definitely if I am selling you the laptop for 100 rupees, the court will go one step further and try to find out if my consent was freely obtained for selling my laptop for 100 rupees, because see, 100 rupees seems to be an unreasonably low amount. So only if there is coercion, undue influence or misrepresentation that someone can sell a laptop for 100 rupees which may be worth 10,000 rupees. So the court may go a step further and see if any undue influence or pressure has been put on me, due to which I am selling the laptop for 100. And if it is found out later that no, it's my free consent, it is a valid contract. Okay, so that is what is the thing about to form a contract. Consideration must be adequate. This is not really the matter. Please take 2 or 3 minutes, go through this. Any questions, please ask me. Any questions, please ask me. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know once you're done, please. Any questions, please ask. Let me know once you're done. Are we done? Okay, let's move on to the next question. Explain the term quasi contracts and state their characteristics. Okay, answer. Quasi contracts. Under the certain special circumstances, obligation resembling those created by a contract are imposed by law, although the parties have never entered into a contract. So this is not a general contract, how you enter by giving offer, acceptance and signing and free consent. No, but these are obligations which are imposed by the law. They are quite similar to the contracts, and in this there is more of a moral responsibility. Such obligations imposed by law are referred to as quasi contracts. Such a contract resembles with a contract so far as result or effect is concerned, but it has little or no affinity with a contract in respect of mode of creation. These contracts are based on the doctrine that a person shall not be allowed to enrich himself unjustly at the expense of the other. So this is based on the doctrine that a person cannot take the advantage to himself at the cost of someone else. The salient features of a quasi-contract are: it does not arise from any agreement of the parties concerned, but it is imposed by law. It is the duty and not promise is the basis of such a contract. So it's not a promise that drives these contracts, but it is a duty, a moral duty. The right under it is always a right to money, and generally, though not always, to the liquidated sum of money. And such a right is available against specific persons and not against the whole world. A suit for its breach may be filed in the same way as in the case of a complete contract. So this is in every aspect, in almost every aspect, it is similar to a contract, but it's creation. It is not created by the normal mode. It is created by the operation of law. Okay, please take a minute, go through this. Any questions, please ask me. Any questions, please ask. Please take a couple of minutes, carefully go through this. Any questions you may have, please ask me. Take about a minute more. Any questions you may have, please ask me. Are we done? Okay, now that is done with Indian Contracts Act. Let's move to the Sale of Goods Act revision test papers, November 2020. Okay, J, the owner of a Fiat car, wants to sell his car. For the purpose, he handed over the car to P, a mercantile agent, for sale at a price not less than 50,000. The agent sells the car for rupees 40,000 to A, who buys the car in good faith and without notice of any fraud. P misappropriated the money also. P also took that 40,000 and ran away. J sues A to recover the car. Decide giving reasons whether J would succeed. Answer. The problem in this case is based on the provisions of Sale of Goods Act 1930 contained in the proviso to section 27. The proviso provides that a mercantile agent is one who in the customary course of his business has as such agent authority to sell goods, to consign goods, or for the purpose of sale, or to buy goods, or to raise money on the security of goods. The buyer of goods from a mercantile agent who has no authority from the principal to sell gets a good title to the goods if the following conditions are fulfilled. So basically, an agent is nothing else but a person who buys or sells goods on behalf of the principal, and any person who buys goods from an agent gets a good title to the goods if the following conditions are fulfilled. The next conditions are on the next slide. So what I request you to do is take 2 minutes first, go through this, and then we proceed. Okay, any questions? Please ask me. Let me know once you're done, please. Are we done? Any questions? Please ask me. Take a minute more. Okay. The agent should be in possession of the goods or documents or title to goods with the consent of the owner. The agent should sell the goods while acting in the ordinary course of business of a mercantile agent. The buyer should act in good faith. The buyer should not have, at the time of contract of sale, noticed that the agent has no authority to sell. So if these conditions are fulfilled, then the agent passes on a good title to the buyer who buys it in good faith. In the instant case, P, the agent, was in possession of the car with J's consent, so the first condition is fulfilled, for the purpose of sale. So he was selling it in the ordinary course of his business as an agent. The buyer therefore obtained the title to the car. Hence, J in this case cannot recover the car from A because the buyer has got the car he's got a good title to the car. So J cannot recover the car from A. Please take 2 minutes, go through that. Any questions, please ask me. Are we done? Let me know once we are done, please. Please go through it. Any questions you have, please ask me. Come on, take another minute. Are we done? Okay, now let's look at the next question. Suraj sold his car to Sohan for rupees 75,000. After inspection and satisfaction, Sohan paid 25,000 of non and took possession of the car and promised to pay the remaining amount within a month. Later on, Sohan refused to give the remaining amount on the ground that the car was not in good condition. Advise Suraj as to what remedy is available to him against Sohan. Let's look at the answer. As per section 55 of the Sale of Goods Act 1930, an unpaid seller has the right to institute a suit for price against the buyer personally. The said section lays down, that is section 55, lays down. First one, where under a contract of sale of property in the goods has passed to the buyer and the buyer wrongfully neglects or refuses to pay the goods, the seller may sue him for the price of the goods. So if the property has passed on as per the terms of the contract, if the property has passed on from the seller to the buyer and the buyer wrongfully neglects or refuses to pay for the goods, the seller may sue him for the price of the goods. Where under a contract of sale, the price is payable on a certain day, irrespective of delivery, and the buyer wrongfully neglects or refuses to pay such price, the seller may sue him for the price. It makes no difference even if the property in the goods has not passed and the goods have not been appropriated to the contract. So if there is a contract of sale, and according to the contract of sale, if the buyer has to pay money on one particular date, It does not matter if on that date the property in the goods has not even passed on to him, but if in the contract of sale he has mentioned a date, and if he does not make the payment on that date, then the seller can file a case against him. Okay, please take 2 minutes, go through this. Any questions, please ask. Any questions, please ask. Let me know once we're done, please. Take 2 minutes. Let me know once we're done, please. Take another minute. Are we done? Okay. In this problem is based on the above provisions, hence Suraj will succeed against Sohan for recovery of the remaining amount. Apart from this, Suraj is also entitled to interest on the remaining amount, interest during pendency of the suit, that is however long the suit carries on, and cost of the proceedings. So these two things additionally also he is entitled to claim from Sohan. Okay, please take a minute. Any questions, please ask me. Come on, let me know once you're done. Are we done? Okay, let's go to question number 8. What are the consequences of destruction of goods under the Sale of Goods Act where the goods have been destroyed after the agreement to sell but before the sale is effected? Let's look at the answer. Destruction of goods consequences. In accordance with the provision of the Sale of Goods Act 1930 as contained in section 7, A contract for the sale of specific goods is void if at the time when the contract was made, the goods without the knowledge of the seller perished or became so damaged as no longer answer to the description in the contract, and the contract is void ab initio. This section is based on the rule that when both the parties to a contract are under a mistake as to the matter of fact essential to the contract is void. So if any goods, specific goods which have been entered into a contract by the seller without the knowledge of the seller perished or became so damaged that they no longer fit the description that is mentioned in the sale of contract of sale, then the contract is void ab initio. This section is based on the rule that where the parties to a contract are under a mistake as to the matter of fact essential to a contract, the contract is void. In similar way, Section 8 provides that an agreement to sell specific goods becomes void if subsequently the goods without any fault on the part of the seller or buyer perish or become so damaged as no longer to answer to the description in the agreement before the risk passes on to buyer. So an agreement to sell is an agreement to sell goods on a future date. So before the actual sale happens, if the goods which were ascertained or specified to a agreement to sell becomes destroyed or damaged without the fault of the buyer or seller, then such an agreement is void. Okay, please take 2 minutes, go through this. Any questions? However, any questions, please ask me. Any questions, please ask. Take about 2 minutes. Let me know once you're done, please. Any questions, please ask. Are we done? Let me know once you're done, please. Take another minute. Okay, let's move on. It may, however, be noted that Section 7 and 8 apply only to specific goods and not to unascertained goods. That means goods that are not ready. Okay. If the agreement is to sell a certain quantity of unascertained goods, the perishing of even the whole quantity of such goods in the possession of the seller will not relieve him of the obligation. Unascertained goods are goods that are not ready when the contract of sale is made. So if unascertained goods are destroyed, but that does not make the contract void, and it does not relieve the seller from his obligation to deliver the goods. So then again the seller will have to prepare for the goods, get them ascertained, and whenever they are ready, he will have to fix them to or specify them to the contract. Okay, then let's move on. Question number 9. Distinguish between a condition and warranty in a contract of sale. When shall a breach of condition be treated as a breach of warranty? Under the provisions of the Sale of Goods Act 1930. Okay. Answer. The difference between condition and difference between condition and a warranty. Okay. A condition is a stipulation. A stipulation means prerequisite, essential to the main purpose of the contract. and whereas a warranty is a stipulation collateral to the main purpose of the contract. So the first difference between a condition and warranty is a condition is a stipulation or prerequisite which is essential or an integral part of the main purpose of the contract, whereas a warranty is a stipulation collateral. Collateral means supplementary, additional, not so important to the main purpose of the contract. The first difference. The second one, the breach of condition gives the right to treat the contract as repudiated. Repudiated means cancelled. Whereas in case of breach of warranty, the aggrieved party can claim damages only. So, like we saw that a condition is a stipulation essential to the main purpose of the contract. If there is any breach in any condition, then the person can treat the contract as repudiated or cancelled. But where there is a breach of warranty, the aggrieved party can only claim damages but cannot treat the contract as cancelled. The breach of condition may be treated as breach of warranty, whereas a breach of warranty cannot be treated as a breach of condition. Okay, that's because a breach of condition is more superior than a breach of warranty. So a breach of condition can always be treated by choice as a breach of warranty, but a breach of warranty cannot be treated as a breach of condition. Please take a minute, go through this slide. Any questions, please ask me. Any questions, please ask. Let me know once we are done. Okay, then according to section 13 of the Sale of Goods Act, a breach of condition may be treated as a breach of warranty in the following situations. A, where a contract of sale is subject to any condition to be fulfilled by the seller, the buyer may waive off the condition. So if there is a condition given in a contract of sale and the buyer chooses to waive it off, to ignore it, then in that case a breach of condition can be treated as a breach of warranty. Second one, when the buyer elects to treat such breach of condition as breach of warranty. So the buyer, for whatever reasons, he might be in a hurry or he might not think it's so important. When the buyer chooses to treat a breach of condition as a breach of warranty, he can do it. That is when a breach of condition is treated as a breach of warranty. Where the contract of sale is non-severable and the buyer has accepted the whole goods or part thereof. So when the contract of sale cannot be broken up into smaller pieces and it should be either accepted as a whole or it should be rejected as a whole, and the buyer chooses to accept it, then even if he accepts the contract as a whole, he also accepts the breach of the warranty. So this is a third situation in which a breach of condition can be treated as a breach of warranty. And the fourth one, where the fulfillment of any condition or warranty is excused by reason of impossibility of otherwise. So when the contract of sale was made, the condition existed, but subsequently that condition became impossible to perform. And because of this, it had to be left out. So in this situation also, a breach of condition can be treated as a breach of warranty. Alright, please take a minute or two, go through this. Any questions, please ask me. Any questions, please ask. Let me know once you're done, please. Please take another minute, carefully go through this. Any questions you may have, please ask me. And let me know once you're done. Are we done? Okay, let's move on. Now let's go to the Indian Partnership Act 1932. Question number 10. Explain the provisions of the Indian Partnership Act relating to creation of partnership by holding out. It is also known as partnership by estoppel. Answer. A partnership by holding out is also known as partnership by estoppel. where a man holds himself out as a partner or allows others to do it. He is then stopped from denying the character he has assumed and upon the faith of which creditors may have presumed to have acted. A person may himself or by his words or conduct have induced others to believe that he is a partner, or he may have allowed others to represent himself as a partner. Now, a partner by holding out or a partner by estoppel is not the actual partner of a firm, but let's say he's a friend of the partner and he goes and puts his hand around the shoulder and says, yeah, I am a partner of the firm. This is my firm only. Don't worry, please give the firm materials. So if someone has relied on this representation made by him and incurred any losses or debts by dealing with the company, then that person can also file a case on this person who has put his hands around the partner's shoulders and said, yeah, I am a partner, please give him material. Because the other person has relied on such a representation, and based on that reliance and representation, he has incurred a loss. So the person, the partner by holding out will also be responsible to pay the other person. Okay, please take a minute, go through this. Any questions, please ask. Take a minute, please. Please take a minute. Any questions you may have, please ask me. Okay, example. X and Y are partners in a partnership firm. X introduced A, is a manager, as his partner to Z. A remained silent. All A could have done that. A could have done that time said, no, I'm not a partner, I'm a manager. But he remained silent. So he let the other person believe that he is also a partner in the firm. Z, a trader, believing A as a partner, supplied 100 TV sets to the firm as credit. After expiry of the credit period, Z did not get the amount of TV sets sold to the partnership firm. Z filed a case against X and A. A was the manager for recovery of the price. Here in the given case, A, the manager, is also liable for the price because he becomes a partner by holding out, as per section 28 of the Indian Partnership Act 1932. It is only the person to whom the representation has been made and who has acted thereon that has right to enforce liability arising out of holding out. So in this particular case, you see, even though A was just a manager, when X introduced him as his partner, he kept quiet. That was his mistake. He should have opened his mouth and said, no, I'm not a partner, I'm a manager. But he did not do that. So believing that A is also a partner in the firm, Z incurred a liability. So Z filed a case on X and A, and it is a very valid case. Okay, please take a minute, go through this. Any questions, please ask. Let me know once you're done, please. Are we done? Okay, take about 30 seconds more, go through this, and then we proceed. Come on, just 10 more seconds, then we proceed. Carefully go through this. Okay, question number 11. Master X was introduced to the benefits of the partnership of Messrs. ABC and Co. with the consent of all the partners. Now please remember, a minor cannot become a partner in the firm, but he can become a partner in the benefits of the firm. So Master X was introduced into the benefits of the partnership of Messrs. ABC and Co. with the consent of all the partners. After attaining majority, more than 6 months lapsed and he failed to give a public notice as to whether he elected to be a partner or not to become a partner in the firm. Later on, Mr. L, a supplier of material to Messrs. ABC and Co., filed a suit against Messrs. ABC and Co. for recovery of a debt due. In light of the Indian Partnership Act 1932, we need to answer to what extent X will be liable if he failed to give public notice after attaining majority, and can Mr. L recover his debt from Mr. X? Mr. X was a minor. Answer. As per the provisions of Section 30, subsection 5 of the Indian Partnership Act 1932, at any time within 6 months of his attaining majority or of his obtaining knowledge that he had been admitted to the benefits of the partnership, whichever date is later, such person may give public notice that he has elected to become or that he has elected to not become a partner in the firm, and such notice shall determine his position as regards to the firm. However, if he fails to give such notice, he shall become a partner in the firm on the expiry of the said 6 months. So now, this is a provision relating to minor. Now, as per the Indian Partnership Act 1932, if any minor is introduced into the benefits of the partnership firm, once the minor becomes a major, the day he becomes a major, he is given 6 months from that date to give his decision whether he wants to become a partner in the firm or whether he does not want to become a partner in the firm. So whatever it is, he needs to give a public notice whether he decides to become a partner in the firm or whether he decides not to become a partner in the firm within 6 months of his attaining majority. In case the minor fails to give this notice within 6 months of him attaining the majority, then he will be assumed to be the partner from the date of the expiry of the said 6 months. So in that case, he will also become he'll become liable for the debts of the firm just like any other partner. Okay, please take a minute, go through this. Any questions, please ask me. Please take a minute. Any questions, please ask. Please take a minute. Any questions, please ask me. Let me know once you're done, please. Are we done? Okay. So, if the minor becomes a partner by his failure to give public notice within the specified time, that is 6 months from the time he becomes a major, his rights and liabilities shall be as follows. He becomes personally liable to third parties for all the acts of the firm done since he was admitted to the benefits of the partnership. His share in the property and profits of the firm remains the same, which he was entitled as a minor. So basically, if he was entitled to 20% profits, he will continue to be a 20% partner. In the instant case, Mr. X has failed to give public notice, he shall become a partner in Messrs. ABC Co. and becomes personally liable to Mr. L, a third party, because he has failed to give a public notice. In light of the provisions of Section 30, subsection 7, read with 30, subsection 5 of the Indian Partnership Act 1932, since Mr. X has failed to give public notice that he has not elected to not become a partner within the 6 months, he will be deemed to be a partner after the period of 6 months, and therefore Mr. L can recover his debts from him also in the same way as he recovers it from other partners. So here in this case, the biggest mistake what Mr. X did was Mr. X failed to give a notice within 6 months of his decision whether he can become a partner or he does not want to become a partner. And because he failed, now he will be assumed to be a partner and he will be liable to the creditors of the firm just like everyone else, and so Mr. L can claim that from him as well. Please take a minute, go through this. Any questions, please ask me. Any questions, please ask. Let me know once you're done, please. Okay, so if you are done with this, we will be ending this session with this slide. Thank you so much for being a wonderful audience. Just give me a second. Okay, thank you for being a wonderful audience. Please do not forget to use the code Prathik to get an instant discount of 10% when you make your Plus subscription. Also, thank you, like I told you, thank you for being a wonderful audience and giving me this opportunity. Also, I'd like to welcome you once again to Crack CA Exams with us, which is a vertical and channel of Unacademy that caters to the students of CA Foundation and Intermediate in their journey and pursuit of preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examinations by providing top educators, quality content, and overall a great learning experience. So come, let's crack CA Exams with Unacademy, India's largest online learning platform. Okay, please do let me know how you found my session. I hope you found it useful. And after going through the sessions, in case you have any questions, queries, or anything as such, please feel free to drop in a line and I will be happy to take up the matter further for discussion, problem solving, or for feedback as well. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.